experience when you played Hobbs?
Yeah, so coming in '98, I had grew up in Hobbs and I moved to Midland briefly for a year, my ninth grade year. But I had grew up under Russ Gilmore, all not Russ Gilmore, excuse me, Rouse Tasker. He brought us all up in the gym. Like something we do that's really big here in Hobbs is our summer league program from fourth grade up, and it's just been going on it's still going on, 75 plus years whenever he started it. And I was really bummed my sophomore year when he had retired, and Russ Gilmore was coming in. So I think everybody was kind of surprised about it because we all figured like, hey, this guy's gonna coach Tasker is gonna he's gonna coach until the wheels
Right.
fall off. So in any case, Gilmore came in. He was very humble. He knew the pressure that was on him. I think something he did that was really good is he kept Coach Taylor, Vince Taylor. And we had a really great connection with Coach Vince Taylor, and then he put a couple of other coaches around him as well. So I think he built a good supporting staff. Gilmore. And then he coached his butt off. He was committed. I know he had some long nights up here, and he really hit the ground running, and just instilled that mental toughness and that defensive mentality into us that we've already kind of grew up with. And we were able to connect and have a lot of success early. Granted too, it was kind of that class where we had four sophomores that were really good, four juniors that were really good, four seniors that were really good, and then they had one more other class with four other guys that were really good right behind us. So it was kind of it was a loaded. We were loaded for sure, and I think Gilmore managed that as well because you always see teams with a lot of talent. They have all the potential in the world, and they just don't. They underachieve, and I think Coach Gilmore did an excellent job of getting us to the mountaintop each year.
It's you mentioned Coach Gilmore, who he deserves a lot of respect. He won five straight. He did, and I know Coach Greg Brown very very well, and I see
Mm.
the pressure on him, man. I see a little bit of pressure, and you know what? He knows his team is good. You know his team is good, but there's
Mhm.
got to be things you got to keep him hungry. And I noticed that I had him on Saturday night against Cleveland, and he's got to get upset. Get after his guys because they are that good. They are. Your team is is,
Mhm.
is good too, but I think there's pressure because people are talking about four Pete's and Coach Gilmore, man, and he took over from a legendary, one of the greatest. I remember you mentioned Vince Taylor, Tony Benford, Jeffrey Taylor Jr. and Senior. I don't know if you ever saw Senior play. That guy could. I never saw
Mhm.
anybody
I
jump.
did.
Never saw anybody jump that high, man. Ever,
No.
never.
Yeah.
Dude was on the square, man. He was on the square,
Yeah.
and but people might have forgot. He played three
Yeah.
years with the Houston Rockets back in the day, and of course his son played professionally as well.
Mhm.
So Wallace Williams. I mean, the press, the things that the sleeve, Eagles, black, white, black and white, the whole thing, man. I never forgot
Yeah,
because
for
it's a
sure.
culture. It's a culture of winning that was established there, and for Coach Gilmore to come in there and continue that, it couldn't have been easy because Coach Tasker is still a beloved figure there.
Yes, for sure. No, absolutely. And then I think the big thing with Russ and kind of even the players looking up to him, and we're coming to high school because we're kids. We don't know what we don't know. All we kind of identified ourselves with, winning was who we were, and we were ready to follow and run through any wall that we needed to win. And Gilmore was our leader at the time, even though it was kind of rooted from Coach Tasker. I think he passed the torch, and we were willing to follow because hey, what he does works, and that's what made it fun. It was just, that's just what our community expected. We come from that tradition. Even in the early 2000s, when Russ had a lot of success, all you hear about is the success they had in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s. And you still hear it today in 2025. So it doesn't go anywhere. Everybody's bought in. We don't talk about district championships or anything here. It's always about the banners.
Yeah, and it again, all due respect to you as well as Coach Gilmore, but that shadow of Coach Tasker, who I
Oh,
saw many
you're
many
exactly right.
times,
You're
running,
right.
walking down, and and then after the game was over, the guys would come and surround him like he was their teacher, their grandfather, their mentor, everything. I never forgot it, man. And a winning tradition was established there, and Coach Gilmore did a great job. After high school, three-time state champion, you were the USA Today Player of the Year, man. McDonald's All-American nominee. You went to play college at Texas Tech under the general, man, Bobby Knight. We
Yes,
talked
sir.
about that. When I saw those pictures, I'm like, wow, geez, because that guy, he passed away last year, and coached at Indiana and Texas Tech for many years. And coach, we mentioned that guy was as old school as they came. Tell us, and there's some pictures of you there at Texas Tech. Tell us a little bit about the general man, Bob Knight. Tell us a little bit about his coaching style and how you developed as a player, and even what you may have got from him coaching technique wise.
Yeah, he was playing for Coach Knight, obviously everybody he's known for his aggression, remarks that he'll make us to the media or whatnot, and he doesn't hold back. But he was truly the most intelligent guy I've ever not just played for, but been around, always reading, always breaking things down. I just learned so much more, learned so much from him. He's a true disciplinarian. Of course, our style was militant, always shaven, no long hair, pants are pulled up 3 inches above the knee. We just kind of had that old school style. But what made him very unique is his attention to detail. He really mastered the fundamentals, and he was able to break down things and win with. We had a lot of success at Texas Tech, and we didn't have the most talented players, but we knew how to execute what he wanted, and obviously. His pedigree, winning 3 national championships, winning gold medal with Michael Jordan, just the success goes on and on, especially with the Big Ten. He knew what he was doing, and we trusted him. So I was really grateful. He was tough, and you got to listen to what he says and not how he says it. But he was my type of coach. He was like a father figure to me, very loyal to him, and I was thankful. At the end of the day, I didn't have an opportunity to go play D1 right out of college, and he's the one that opened that door for me to give me that chance to play at Texas Tech. And so internally grateful for him just for giving me that chance.
Was Bubba Jennings an assistant there when you were there?
Yeah, absolutely. So he
Okay.
was funny thing is he was coaching at Lubbock Coronado my senior year, but he was the one that kind of put it in Coach Knight's ear that, hey, there's a kid in Hobbs, to Coach Knight, and he was kind of my mentor my whole 4 years there, and me and Bubba still stay in contact and talk to each other to this day.
It's yeah, I had him on the show a couple of years ago, and we still stay in a little bit of contact as well. But tell us about the discipline. I mean, no certain stories, but the guy is known to rip people, man. He'll rip you, but you just said it, not the way he says, not what he says, or just the way he says it. You had to kind of ignore some of that. Made you tougher. Talk a little bit about that. You said he's disciplined. He could break the game down. He knew X's and O's. His players graduated. He never cheated. He hated. You imagine him with NIL today. Oh my gosh, man, he
Yeah,
couldn't
no,
stand Calipari as it was anyway, right? He couldn't stand
yeah,
Calipari when he was alive. He couldn't stand that one and done. He couldn't stand it. You imagine him today with NIL? But talk
no,
to us
not
about.
happening.
Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah, that,
he
I
would have
mean,
gone
if
nuts.
it, yeah, he would have gone nuts. But if anybody could have figured it out, it would have been him because he really set the mark for a lot of new things that are happening today in today's game. He really opened up a lot of doors and bridged the gap for a lot of things that are happening today. But yeah, for sure, he wouldn't have been able to, just how the way things work. He was an authentic guy. He really believed in real relationships, being having a core of who you are and whatnot. So with money being involved like that, I'd say that it wouldn't be his thing, but I'm pretty sure everybody else would say the same. But no, I liked his discipline. But for me, I had a really tough mother, man, and she was kind of the same, worked really hard. There was non-negotiables, and she just really drew the line in the sand for a lot of things that the way I was brought up. So going to Coach Knight, it kind of made the transition a little easier because like he's pretty tough, but my mother was kind of at the top of that. She was kind of a real disciplinarian too, so it kind of was a match for me. I'll be honest though, he's not for everybody. I've seen multiple players throughout my college career that just wasn't for me. Nothing's wrong with that, but yeah, he's definitely not for everybody.
No, it's kind of funny because he went to go recruit Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, people forget, played for him, won a championship,
Hmm.
and he got into a fight with his brother there when he went to, because Isaiah grew up in a tough part of Chicago, so
Yeah,
he got into a fight with almost a fist fight with Isaiah's older brother, and he still went there. So Bobby Knight was going to
yeah.
say what he said, and I didn't know his reason. I didn't. I thought there was times he was way overboard. I thought he sometimes was a bully. I did, but I can't say he wasn't a great coach either. We got about a minute left. Tell us what techniques or what did you learn coaching wise from him? I mean, the discipline, you mentioned that some kids aren't for that anymore. They don't want to be disciplined like that. But what part of his coaching did you take and incorporate at Hobbs?
Yeah, just being a student of the game, taking the elevator back down to one, and just breaking it down. Like we all had notebooks at Texas Tech, and we wrote down everything from whether it was practice, whether it was watching film. We really, really broke down the game and dissected it. And then what that did, it simplified it for us. And there wasn't no clue of trying to be based off of talent. You knew exactly what you did, how you needed to do it. It was a lot of hours invested in it. I don't do as much here at the high school level, but I simplify it to make sure that I'm setting a platform for our players to understand it and meeting them where they're at, so we can so I can maximize the ability that we have here.
That's awesome, Coach. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more a little bit about your playing career and this year's version of the 2024-25 Hobbs Eagles after these messages on the Sports Desk.
Yes, sir.
Stolen by Critchlow again. Son Noah will go straight to the basket. He's got two. Mustangs being patient here on this possession, working it around the arc. Espinosa's three connects. Dale leads her way around, puts one up and puts one down. Inbound this one. Right to Green. Oh, rejected by Duty. Morris pulls from the parking lot and connects. Second three of the quarter for Latavius Morris. He's got 9 points. Open look. Green, baseline, rise, fires, English.
Ball, no dice. Offensive board is there, still an opportunity. Shot goes up off the glass. Kane Brand. Oh, just a little kiss off the glass.
Give it over to Mo Critchlow. 7 seconds. Critchlow underneath. Weinrich with authority.
It's going to be the corner. 5-4. Pulls up. Hits it. And that's it. That's the game.
Great move by him and great finish.
Pick and roll action right to Aguino. It's a two-hand hammer for Kenyon Aguino.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. A very special guest today, Hobbs boys head coach Ronald Ross. His Eagles will take on his second-seeded Eagles will take on the 15th-seeded Las Cruces Bulldogs Saturday in Hobbs at 6 p.m. Coach, once again, welcome back to the show, man. We had some really good times talking about some bad past memories, man, and you're making some new ones, and I think that's the important part. I also wanted to say you were a coaching assistant at Texas Tech from 2018 with Chris Beard, a national championship runner-up, man. I can only in 2019. You were part of that staff and Big 12 champions with head coach Chris Beard, who did a heck of a job there. And I also want to go over 2005 first team All-American basketball team, Chip Hilton Player of the Year by Naismith Hall of Fame, 2005 first team All Big 12, USVA All District MVP, a lot of honors. 2005 finals for Albuquerque Convention Visitors Bureau, Basketball Award of Excellence, NCAA Sweet 16 in Albuquerque, 13-year professional career in Europe, Italy, France, Greece, Germany, and Croatia. So you've been around, Coach. You really have. And tell us a little bit about playing learning under Coach Chris Beard. There's another man. You've got Gilmore. You've had a lot of great. I mentioned that to you, Bob Knight and Chris Beard. And Chris Beard, Tech made where'd they come from? I remember I was talking to Bubba at that time, and Bubba, I think I interviewed him around that time. And Texas Tech they weren't known for basketball, and they're doing real well this year. They took one of our Lobos, man, JT Toppin is playing.
I know.
We're still mad, but he's playing great. Probably going to be a first-round pick, man. He's probably going to be a first-round pick. But tell us a little bit about coaching alongside Chris Beard. He's a heck of a coach.
Yeah, Chris Beard was an incredible experience. I think I learned a whole lot with the combination of playing in Europe and then coming to have an opportunity to coach at Texas Tech right out of retirement. I was able to learn a lot. Unique thing about Chris Beard, he was on the coaching staff with Coach Knight when I was at college. So he had some of the same principles as far as, the 4-to-1 mentality, mental toughness, and kind of just breaking down the game, understanding the details. But what was really unique about Chris Beard that was different, I would say, from about him just in general, he's very relational. That guy can sell water to a well. He can relate to the players like no other person I've never seen. And then he just gets it. And then he's very, on a college Power 5 D1 platform, he was, kind of genius the way he delegated things. He put people in the right places to be successful. He just, and he worked hard. He worked really hard. He had an incredible work ethic. He still does. He's at Ole Miss now. But, I was able to learn a lot. I was able to learn a lot to him, took me under his wing. And I really enjoyed my time there at Texas Tech under him from 2018 to 2020.
Coach, man, look at your mentors. You mentioned your mother, disciplinarian, and if she was tougher than Bob Knight, wow. You had to walk a certain line. Then, you've got Coach Gilmore, and you did play for Coach Tasker, but Coach Jennings, Bubba Jennings, one of the New Mexico legends, Bob Knight, Chris Beard. You played professionally in Europe. I'm sure you have some coaches there. Wow. That's all I can tell you, man. You're a Hobbs Eagle, man. You're back at your place, your first year. And just hearing that song, man, we're looking forward to seeing the Hobbs band. If you win, you got to get past Las Cruces. Yeah. Yes, but that Hobbs Eagle band, I never. That song was prevalent here all during 70s and 80s. Yeah. Tell us about this year's version, man. This is your first year. You wanted to be here, man. Shelby Reeves was the coach before you, a former Hobbs Eagle. When you came there, was your intention of getting back the tradition? Now, anytime Hobbs has still had some good teams. They maybe don't get all the multitude of great players. You still have a lot this season. But tell us about this year's version of the Hobbs Eagles. Great pictures right there.
Yeah, well, this team is very unique. I kind of came in a few years ago and got a chance to kind of see them, see what they were, see what they're about, where they were going, and kind of the mentality. I mean, we spoke about it earlier, just, the kids today think totally different than the kids, let's say 20, 30, 40 years ago. So you have to understand that. I mean, it's easy to kind of, hey, this is how they should be. It's or what they should be doing. It's easy to say that, but you got to connect with them. You got to go meet them where they're at. And you got to really instruct them and kind of give them a plan, give them a focus. But, at the same time, it's not just your ideal. It's got to be part of their ideal, too. And I think that was the biggest thing I tried to do in building the culture was connect with the players, team bonding, them getting to know each other, them understanding how to work consistently, telling them the truth about things. And there were some hard times too. It wasn't all, it wasn't all sweet or whatnot. But we had some rough patches, but we learned. And I think, considering last year, kind of the year that it was when we were assistant, they were battle tested, had some real adversity, even this year as well. And you just see the maturity. You got to understand, it's a marathon and not a short race. And I think our boys have bought into it, and they're really, it's bigger than just basketball and banners and the expectations that are here in Hobbs. It's about winning the day, understanding the process, and being the same person you are, not just when you're on the court, but off the court, and building real natural, sustainable characteristics that's going to last you a lifetime. And I think that's what makes champions.
Sounds like Coach Tasker. Sounds like Coach Gilmore. Sounds like Coach Beard, Coach Knight, your mother. Sounds like a lot of different people you learn for. Learn from Parker Henderson, the 7-footer, 10 points a game,
Yes,
7.6 rebounds. Badrick Beatty has 2.0 assists per game. Abraham Pena, your leading scorer, at 18 points a game, 3.0, 2.5 steals, 36% from three. Turbiades, Jarius Turbiades, 6'5", to go along with Parker Henderson in there, 11.8 points per game, 8.3 rebounds. Tell us a little bit about them. I mean, Parker Henderson is very, I haven't seen him play a little bit online, but people are, hey, you got a 7-footer. Tell us a little bit about the whole team. What can we expect to maybe see if you get past Las Cruces?
Yeah, well, Parker Henderson, obviously he's a force inside. I mean, 7 foot is 7 foot. I played pro, and I feel something I told, like, Parker, regardless of skill level or whatever the case is, you're 7 foot, man. So he makes a lot of good things happen for us with his presence, but also he's getting better and better. He's really starting to get a feel for the game, defensively, where to be, how to, wall up, just small things like that that'll keep him out of foul trouble, but at the same time, cause some headaches for our opponents. And then offensively, he's continuing to get better. He's working hard. He's very coachable. That's really what I love about that kid. And he's gonna, I think the ceiling's very high for him. He's just got to continue to work. And I think he'll, if he stays on the path he is on right now, I think he can really make some noise in this playoff run. I mean, of course, starting with Las Cruces and not looking past them, but he can be a big part of our success if we're able to go really far in this thing. And then Abraham Pena, he's by far probably one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic guard in the state, in my opinion. The kid just has a beautiful jump shot, has an incredible jumping ability. He's 5'11", scraping 6 foot, and the kid can jump, go in between his legs and dunk any kind of windmill. He's just a freak athlete. You don't really see that in the games because obviously those opportunities haven't presented themselves yet, but he's really a great talent. But better than his talent, he's really grown into a leader. He's really been the one to be like, the fall on the sword for when things don't go right, and he holds himself accountable. So he's going to be leading the charge for us, of course, from the point guard spot. And then Jairis Turbiades, he's 6'7". Jairis is here. They had him down at 6'5", but he's grown to 6'7". He's just our engine, man. Both ends of the court. He can fly 94 feet, chase down blocks, alley-oops, just making plays. He can dribble a little bit. He can shoot the three. He can shoot the mid-range. Again, he was a late bloomer, kind of like Parker, that really embraced basketball a little later on in their teens. But he's continuing to get better and better. So if his mentality and his focus is where it normally is, he's pretty consistent. I think he can he's the heart of our team. He'll be the one to really make a lot of things happen for us down the run.
You got a Hutchings there on the roster too. Is that related to one of the Hutchings that played at Hobbs? You got Trey Hutchings.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's no longer with us, but he's no longer part of the team. But Hutchins is part of the tradition. The Hutchins from
right,
the Rod Hutchins, Patrick Hutchins, and then he's also his mother's a Haynes, so he also falls into the Haynes tree line. His father's a Hutchins, his mother's a Haynes. So the Allen Haynes, the Vince Haynes, just the long tradition of Haynes family that lives here in Hobbs, he's part of that as well.
Some good wins on this schedule, no doubt about it. You beat Artesia twice, Valley. But I got to ask you, you matched up against Volcano Vista on January 7th. The loss, 62-55. You mentioned Parker Henderson at 7 feet, Turbiades at 6'7" now, and we know Lund and Kenyon Owino. So they're very tough inside. How did I had them on Saturday, and Lund, they go high low. Lund will throw it to Owino to Lund. Now Cillian is a heck of a player. Ryan Gonzalez had scored 62 in a game 3 weeks ago. Hit 17 3-pointers. How do you? It was a 62-55 matchup. How did that game? How did that game go?
Yeah, I thought the game went well. I'm actually glad we had the opportunity to play him. I think Craig Brown and his staff, they do an incredible job there, clearly. And just first thing first, we have a lot of respect for them and how he does things and how he's been able to do it. It doesn't just happen from, we could say talent and Guino and all of this. But I think Coach Brown does things right there, and he's got some great pieces, and he's maximizing what he has. As far as our game, it was 62-55, but we went in at halftime at 10 with up 10, and then we came out, we hit a 3, end up going 13. And then I think slowly they kind of 2, 3 points into our lead, another 2 or 3 points into our lead. They kind of got down there towards the rope towards the end of the fourth, and they were able to separate from us and walk away. Excuse me, I'm at school.
That's right.
And they were able to walk away with the 62-55. But just I credit their experience and their willingness. They just they were better than us in the second half. Made that comeback, and were able to get the game. But I like the way we match up with them. I do think they're a great team, very respectable. They got it all: inside presence shooters, good point guard, good defenders on the ball. But I think we match up well against them, and we're lucky to meet them in the finals. I think that'd be a really fun matchup to watch part 2 of.
I was boys basketball coach Ronald Ross, second-ranked, second-seeded Eagles will take on Las Cruces Bulldogs this Saturday at 6 p.m. in Hobbs. We wish you, thanks for coming on the show, sir. We wish you all the luck at the state tournament.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you having me. Thanks a lot.
You bet. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.